What's poppin', fellow nerds? Today we have another gameplay video. This is round 3 from Friday Night Locals about a week ago whenever I was playing my Black Blocker Toolbox deck. We are playing against Mega Zoo McDonald's. It's definitely not a meta deck. It's his own concoction. It's basically a bunch of advantage cards combined with Mega Zoo. He starts out by playing Lopmon, a huge advantage card. I actually love that card. Any yellow deck I ever build, I'm going to play probably 4 Lopmon in. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but if you have not already entered our giveaway, check the link in the description. Giving away one of these. Check it out. Alright, let's get back to the video. Whenever you play it from hand for 3, you can look at the top card of your security. You can add it to your hand to draw 1 card from your deck, so it's a +2 for 3 memory, which is pretty good. And it gets you closer to having your Karis live. I start out my turn to play a Ludomon. And we do whiff. Do not hit any targets. Pretty surprising, because you do get to look at 5, and I have like 10 targets in my deck. So it's pretty surprising, pretty surprising to miss with that effect. But it is going to happen. He activates a TK Takashi, one of the other broken cards in yellow. Lets you look at your security, add 1 card from it to your hand, and if it's yellow, you get to recover 1 from your deck. I'm just cutting his security. And just swing into his security. And do run into Gaia Force. Pretty funny. Would definitely rather have Gaia Force hit my Ludomon than anything else. And he swings with Vmon into my security with jamming and gets to draw from Demi V's effect. Checks a Greymon, but it's irrelevant. Then he swings with Lopmon. Hits a Gatsumon and dies. But that's just a free body at this point. Then he activates Eden's Javelin to draw 1 card from his deck, and then one of my Digimon gets minus 1000 DP for every card in his hand. And he definitely has more than 4 cards to blow up my Greymon. I Digivolve into my Andromon. And I do want to get that annoying body off the field, so I'll go ahead and swing into it. But I do have a Reboot with Toyagomon's effect, so I do get to restand on his turn. Now I'm just setting up my blockers. And he hard plays a Durandamon from his hand for 10. It's a vanilla 12k beater, but when you Digivolve on top of it, it gives the level 7 piercing. It's a Ragnarlordmon card. And this right here is probably a mistake. But honestly, I just don't know what to expect. This is the first time I played against like this wild deck. But I do walk right into an Alter S here. He gets to Digivolve my Machine Dramon and then nuke my other 2 Digimon. So, pretty big blow. It was a +2 for him. And I'm back down to an ultimate blocker. So I go ahead and Cress, and I only get to reveal 1 since he only has 1 Digimon on the field, but I do hit Millenniummon, which is not a valid target. Cress only summons level 5 or lower Digimon, unfortunately. And he plays a Taikami from the structure deck, so he can Gaia Force my Mega. Big sad. So this is actually the matchup that made me put Ragnarlordmon and Bryludramon back into my deck. Playing against Mega Zoo, like once they drop big dudes on the field, if you don't have Bryludramon in your deck, you just can't get to a high enough DP threshold to really do anything about their offensive pressure. Like, I have nothing in my deck that can stop that Alteress from swinging into me, besides just removal, which he keeps removing my card, so I can't build up into something to actually remove it. And I don't play any removal cards otherwise, because black doesn't really have access to any good removal cards. So I just poke his security and check a Magnadramon and die. Then I Machine Dramon just to de-evolve the Seraphamon. And I'm hoping the Machine Dramon survives a turn, and then I can Millenniumon the Alteress to finally get rid of it. And he Edens. And he has exactly 11 cards to reduce my Machine Dramon's DP to 0 to delete itself from game mechanics. Big sad, means I can't Millenniumon him on my turn to get rid of that Alteress. And he swings security. I sit here and think about it for a moment, but there's no reason for me not to just let that through, just so I can have bodies on the field if it's not game. So I just let it go through. Then he Digivolves into Seraphamon, recovers one again, and swings, and now I'm forced to block that one. He plays Agumon Expert from his hand, and he doesn't have any targets in his trash for Agumon Expert, so he's just playing it to play it, just to have a body on the field. And right here I'm trying to dig. And I'm thinking he has 4 potential swings on his turn, only have 2 blockers. And I go ahead and scoop. There's no way to win. So he takes game 1, and I go second game 2, because obviously I love going second. He starts out pretty well, Digivolves into Vmon and then plays a TK. My hand is kind of Brick City again for game 2. At least my opening hand. And he grabs a Magna Angemon out of his security. And I play a Joe. And then I do feel the need to put a blocker out just so that Vmon can't get free damage on me. So if he doesn't deal with the Andromon, I am going to gain a memory at the beginning of my turn for my Joe. Yeah, my hand's kind of poo-poo bad. He drops a Craniumon to put me to 8, and then I gain 1 memory from Joe's effect to put myself to 9. And now Craniumon's a problem. It's going to be hard for me to build up a stack big enough to swing over that thing, especially with all the removal cards in his deck. And we're just going to dig with our Ludamon. And we whiff again, surprisingly. Ludamon was not very kind to us in this match. Yeah, so I play another blocker just to put him to 3 since he's getting 3 from TK anyway. So, looking back on this, it may have been an okay idea just let that attack go through just so he couldn't swing in and kill that blocker for free. Yeah, and he has exactly 7 cards from the Eden's Javelin to blow up my other blocker. So now I don't get Joe's effect on the beginning of my turn. And I just swing into his security. Pretty funny, I actually hit a Kakaitis Breath. So it's a mandatory effect, return one of your opponent's Digimon to its owner's hand. So he has to put the Ludamon back into my hand, so I get to play it again. And hopefully we don't whiff. And we whiff, once again. Completely whiff. That's the 3rd Ludamon that we've completely whiffed on. He checks a Millenniumon with the Vmon, which is irrelevant since it's swinging with jamming. He digivolves into Ragnalordmon, uses Ragnalordmon's effect to put Brilugimon underneath him to gain the 3 memory he would have spent to digivolve. Then swings for security attack +1 and checks 2 little small boys. Then he plays an Agumon Expert, and once again no targets in his trash for the Agumon Expert, so it's just a body. Then he plays a second TK to take a look at his security. Adds a Seraphimon. And Ragnarordmon has reboot, so now he has a 14,000 DP blocker on his field. So I can't just swing over his Vmon, unfortunately. And I crest, and I get to look at 3 cards now because it has 3 bodies on the field. And sadly, the only target I get is Gatsumon, level 3. It could have been worse. I could have just not had any valid targets, but that's definitely not a good hit off crest. And then I do Alter S just to get rid of his Ragnalordmon and blow up his other Digimon. He digivolves into another Ragnarordmon, but he does not get the effect to gain the 3 memory. He doesn't have a Durandamon or a Brilugimon in his hand. And he swings for security +1. I think about this for a few moments, but I go ahead and just let it through just so I can have bodies on the field. And then he Kakaitis Breaths the Alter S back to my hand. Big sad. Then reboot, now he has a giant blocker on his field again. Right now I'm just digging for stuff. So this is, I believe, our 4th Ludamon of this game. And we whiff again. Incredible. 20 cards from Ludamon, and we don't hit a single Legend Arms card. He swings with V, so I decided to block this with Andromon. And that'll ensure that Andromon stays on the field. Because if he tries to swing into Andromon or for game, I can block the Ragno with Gatsumon. Then he swings for game and I block it. And he plays an Eden's Javelin. And he has 9 cards in his hand, so he gets to just blow up my Andromon anyway. And now we're just playing survival. I'm just trying to get blockers on the field and try to come back somehow. Ideally, I can stall long enough to just swing into all of his security. That's my goal. That's why I went wide there. I just block that. Then he Edens to blow up the other blocker. And right here I'm digging. I need to get to a blocker, or I just lose next turn. Running out of blockers in black. Awkward. I do think about it for a moment, but I did run out of blockers, so I go ahead and scoop. GG to Finley. He 2-0'd me. This matchup made me realize I definitely need to be able to hit higher DP thresholds with my blockers. So I put Bryludramons back in and put Ragnalordmons back in since I have those. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content down the road. Until next time, see ya.